Hey everyone, what's going on? Hope you're all doing great and ready to hear about the latest update for Kingdom Come Deliverance II. There's a fresh patch that just rolled out alongside the Mysteria Ecclesiae DLC, and it's packed with tweaks, bug fixes, and quality of life improvements that make the game smoother, prettier, and more reliable. It's not the kind of flashy update that overhauls the whole experience, but it's one of those behind the scenes efforts that you feel immediately once you jump back into your save. Let's start with the most noticeable stuff. The blacksmithing system finally got a change that players have been begging for. You can now use crafting materials directly from your shared stash or even from your horse's inventory. That little detail sounds like nothing, but if you've ever spent minutes running back and forth between chests trying to gather iron, charcoal, and other materials just to make a single weapon, this is a life changer. It trims away the tedious parts and lets you focus on actually crafting instead of managing 10 different inventories. Visually, this update does some much needed cleanup work. HDR users should instantly see an improvement. Colors are now balanced properly, and that weird oversaturation, especially in bright daylight, has been corrected. The patch also tackles ghosting and blurring issues that popped up when using FSR4 on the map. If you were noticing strange outlines or the map looking smudged when zooming or scrolling, that should finally be gone. These fixes might not sound dramatic, but they make a massive difference to the presentation, especially if you're running a high-end setup. Another subtle but hugely appreciated fix involves facial animations and dialogue. Before, the game reused English facial animations for all their languages, which made conversations feel awkward in non-English versions. Characters' mouths didn't match their words, and expressions sometimes looked out of sync. The update assigns unique animations for each voiceover language, meaning lip sync now properly matches the spoken dialogue. For anyone playing in Czech, German, French, or other languages, that's a big immersion boost. It's one of those fixes that you don't really notice until it's right, and then you can't imagine going back. Quest stability also got some attention. The developers fixed multiple issues where certain quests could become stuck or fail to trigger properly, especially in older saves. They've clearly put effort into making sure your progress won't get jammed halfway through a quest chain. This is great news for longtime players who've been holding on to massive saves and don't want to restart just because one objective refuses to update. Still, it's always smart to back up your saves before applying big updates, just in case. The world itself feels more stable too. There were issues with NPC schedules, chests not restocking when their owners were dead, and random characters freezing or glitching during their daily routines. Those have been tightened up. The patch also cleans up some of the smaller immersion-breaking details like doors not opening properly or animation loops that would repeat endlessly. These are all small things, but together they make towns and villages feel more natural again, more like a living world rather than a series of scripted events. On the technical side, this patch cleans up several lingering audio and voice line issues, including mismatched lines and improper timing. The soundscape feels smoother overall. It's clear the developers have been quietly focusing on all those immersion cracks that might not stop you from playing, but can slowly wear down your enjoyment over time. Now, if you're part of the modding community or you play with mods, you'll want to pay attention to compatibility. Major updates like this one can sometimes break certain mod scripts, so double check the mod pages before launching your game. Most mod authors are quick to adjust after new patches, but it's worth making sure everything is up to date before you load your saves. Community reactions have been pretty positive so far. Players who were frustrated with HDR and ghosting issues are relieved, and people running long-term saves appreciate the quest fixes and improved world stability. It's one of those updates that doesn't make a huge marketing splash, but quietly solves dozens of annoyances that have been lingering since launch. There's also a new reward tucked in with the patch, the Unicorn Chanfron. It's basically a decorative horse armor piece and a fun little cosmetic addition that ties in with the DLC release. It's not going to change how you play, but it's a charming bonus for anyone who enjoys collecting unique items. It's the developers' way of marking this update as something special rather than just another bug fix drop. If you're planning to make content or talk about this patch in a video, the best approach is to keep it conversational and grounded. Start by mentioning how the update launched alongside the new DLC, and then highlight what actually matters to players: smoother visuals, cleaner performance, and fewer gameplay interruptions. For example, you can show a clip of how crafting used to require all that inventory juggling, and then show how much faster it is now. Or do a side-by-side comparison of HDR before and after the patch. Viewers instantly notice those improvements, even if they don't fully understand the tech behind them. It's also worth touching on the importance of localized lip sync improvements, because that signals how much care Warhorse is putting into making this game accessible and immersive for all players, not just English speakers. It's easy to overlook, but it's a clear sign of long-term commitment to quality. And if you're wrapping up your video or review, talk about how this update fits into the overall support pattern for the game. Warhorse Studios has been steadily refining Kingdom Come Deliverance II since release, patch after patch, smoothing out the rough edges, improving world consistency, and adding small, meaningful upgrades. This isn't a company that abandons its project after launch. Instead, they're polishing it with the kind of detail that really matters to fans of grounded, realistic RPGs. The main takeaway is that the update doesn't reinvent the game, but it refines almost every part of the experience just enough to make it noticeably better. The world feels steadier, the visuals are cleaner, the quests are more reliable, and the dialogue feels more natural. For players who've been waiting for a reason to jump back in, this is a perfect moment. Everything runs more smoothly, the story content continues to expand, and those frustrating little quirks that used to pile up over long sessions are slowly being erased. In short, the patch feels like a solid milestone, the kind that shows how far the game has come since launch. It's about removing friction, deepening immersion, and rewarding loyalty. Whether you're picking up the new Mysteria Ecclesiae DLC or just patching your main save, you'll feel the difference right away. So if it's been a while since you last loaded your game, this is a great time to return to Bohemia. Revisit your blacksmithing, check out the new polish on HDR visuals, listen to the more natural dialogue animations, and maybe even pick up that Unicorn Chanfron as a symbol of the game's quiet evolution. It's not a massive expansion or a sweeping new feature set, but it's a confident step forward, a reminder that Warhorse Studios is still committed to keeping this medieval world alive, detailed, and ever more immersive. That's about it for the update breakdown. It's a calm, confident patch that improves the things you actually feel in moment-to-moment gameplay. Less frustration, more realism, smoother performance, that's what this update is really about. So if you've been sitting on the fence, fire up your save and give it another go. You'll notice the difference the moment you start swinging that sword, hammering that blade, or just watching the world go by around you.